Hey, what is going on, guys? This is DK back at you with another video here for the NBA main slate here on Monday. We got a pretty big slate, so let's not waste any time. Real quick, let's see how we're currently doing tonight, Sunday night. It was a small three-game slate, but I kind of liked it. So I went with the Phoenix-Sacramento stack, which it worked out okay. I did really like Marvin Bagley. I didn't end up with him in a final lineup. I'm a little mad at myself for that. But other than that, yeah, so I went with Phoenix, Sacramento stack, basically Fox, Booker, Bogdanovich, Holmes, Ayton, and Harrison Barnes. Then I threw in Vucevic, who the blowout kind of hurt there a bit. He was on pace for a huge game. And then I just went with the cheap guard with Dion Waiters. And this Miami Golden State game, surprisingly, is staying close. If I could go back in time, I would definitely basically fade it again. Like, the odds of Miami, a shorthanded Miami team, keeping it close at Golden State is like slim to none. So it really is surprising that this game is still close. But yeah, Waiters doing really solid. So I played an Eric Spoelstra guy and I got away with it. So I feel pretty lucky, to be honest. So yeah, let's look again. Another really solid night, and let's keep it going here for Monday. So let's see. I think it's a 9-game. Yeah, 9-game slate. So brief overview. There are a few really appealing games here. New York, Cleveland. Two bad teams going up against each other. Definitely can get some cheap pieces here. Charlotte, Indiana. A lot of the Indiana guys seem a little underpriced. They've been involved in a lot of the blowouts. So I like the Indiana side a bit here. Washington, Detroit, also very appealing. The two Detroit bigs, you guys know I'm not huge on playing them, but this is a matchup where I'm considering it against Washington, one of the worst rebound teams in the league. On the Washington side, there's a bunch of appealing plays. This Clippers-Minnesota game is really appealing to me. I do like a couple plays there. And then, obviously, this Portland OKC game for the Stars. That's going to be, I don't know what the over-under is going to be yet because it's not out, but I'd assume that one's going to be really high. So, yeah, let's get into the analysis. So, Harden here at 12K. He actually popped up on the injury report. He's listed as probable, though. I do think he goes pretty low owned on the slate. I think the flocks are going to go to Lillard, Westbrook, which, I feel they kind of should. Like, the Portland OKC game is going to have a really high over-under. OKC's playing at such a fast pace, but I think a lot of people are going to forget about Harden here. That could be a mistake. 12K, the price has dropped a bit. I think in GPPs it's worth a look because I think anytime you can get Harden low owned, that's great. So I think for GPPs, you got to consider Westbrook. This Portland Oklahoma City game should be. Let's see if is there an over under out here for this. Okay, yeah, there is. So it says it's 231. So there's some that are out, some aren't. So 231 here for Portland OKC right now. That is what I'm seeing. So if that over-under is going to stick, you obviously are going to want exposure to this. Damian Lillard at 8.6K and a 231-point over-under. He always steps up in big matchups, so I do really like Damian Lillard here. Let's see, Chris Paul, he's just way too cheap. I liked him a lot against OKC. Had him in my original lineup that night, but ended up pivoting at the last minute. But still, I like him just as much now. 6.9K for a guy that's off his minutes limit. It's just way too cheap. So, the only way he really can't get you there, I feel like, is if he gets hurt or if it's a blowout. 6.9K for Chris Paul is criminally underpriced. Lou Williams, so this is interesting. I think for GPPs, he's going to go very low owned. He let a lot of people down against Indiana. Not a lot of people played him against Boston. They're going to box score watch, see 14 and 28. We know Lou Williams has huge upside here. So, in a game against Minnesota, this is a pretty appealing game. I'm definitely considering Lou Williams because I think he's going to be very low owned. DSJ, so this is a pretty appealing game, and it looks like Fizdale, even when DSJ played bad, he played 30 minutes, shot the ball 4 of 17. He still played 30 minutes, like I said. So it looks like they're going to give him minutes no matter what here. In a matchup against Cleveland, I think he is a really solid play here. Jamal Murray, matchup not ideal against Miami. They're more of a slow-paced team, but 6.3K for a guy that's going to play 30-plus minutes. It just seems way too cheap for him. A lot of guys seem underpriced in this slate. Then you got COLLISON, who a couple of these Indiana guys I do really like if the Hornets can keep it close. I think Collison, Thad Young, Sabonis, or Miles Turner, a few of these guys I think could have a big game here if Charlotte does keep this close. Santa Ransky at 5.9. I thought he was, locked into about 35 minutes, but then played 29 minutes against Chicago. Minutes have been up and down for him, but I think he is also still a little underpriced. The Minnesota guards with Bayless, Rose, Jeff Teague. I'm not messing with the point guard situation right now. If there's more clarity down later on tomorrow or something, then maybe. But as of right now, I'm just not messing with it. Reggie Jackson. I never feel good about playing Reggie Jackson. He never does good for me, but I understand if you want to do it. He's been playing pretty well here. A good match against Washington. 5.6K. I think he is firmly in play. Clarkson here. So if Kevin Love misses, we don't know. We don't really have news on Kevin Love yet. If he misses, then I do really like Clarkson as well as Larry Nance. So it'd be really, really appealing for me. And also, you could also give a look to Colin Sexton too. I would probably prefer Clarkson to Sexton, but I think Sexton would be a fine play as well if Kevin Love misses. Let's see, Napier just got limited. I'm probably not going to go there now. He had an off night. I shot the ball 0 of 5. I don't know if it was because of that or because LeVert was back, but I'm probably not going to go Napier here. I ran him a lot out there, but I'm probably going to stay away now. Other than that, I don't see a whole lot. I mean, Cannon, if all those Minnesota point guards miss, I guess, but I don't know. I don't really want to mess with the Minnesota point guard situation right now. Beal, I think he goes pretty low owned. Detroit, not the best matchup, but it's not the worst matchup though. So he's a guy that's going to shoot the ball 20 plus times, and it's going to play close to 40 minutes a night. You got to consider him. Luka Doncic here at 8.7. Been a little up and down. Dallas. Rick Carlisle has been known to kind of pull the strings early, pull the guys early when the game starts to start to turn into a blowout. So I think Doncic does have some upside here against Houston. This should be a pretty fast-paced game as well. So I understand if you want to go there. Me personally, though, I'm probably not going to go there. Let's see, McCollum. I think he goes super low owned. Everyone's going to be on Lillard. And McCollum been playing pretty well here of late. He has flash some upside too. I'm just personally, I understand if you want to play CJ. I'm just playing. I would rather pay up for Dame Lillard. Let's see. Will Barton here. The minutes been really up and down, but the price tag at 5.6K, I think makes him firmly in play. I do like a lot of these mid-tier guys. There's a lot of probably 5 to 7K guys I do really like on the slate. Cheap guards, shooting guards. I mean, Dion Waiters. He's been playing really well for me tonight, surprisingly. He played 32 minutes and has been starting, so I think he would be a pretty solid value play. It is hard to trust anyone in Miami really with Eric Spoelstra running the show, but I think he would be definitely worth a look. All right, small forward, Giannis. I think he also goes super low owned. This is a great matchup, but I think everyone's going to be afraid of the blowout. Milwaukee has just been blowing teams out, or when Giannis missed, they got blown out. So Milwaukee I feel like has not been involved in a close game in a long time. If Chicago can keep this close, I think Giannis could go for 80 fantasy points, honestly. So definitely consider him for GPPs. Paul George, it's the same thing every single night with him. He goes low owned every night. Everyone always wants to play Westbrook. No one plays Paul George. I said in my last video, he went off for 68 against Houston. It's every single night. So Paul George in a high over-under. The game should stay close. You definitely have to consider him as one of your pay-ups for sure. Thad Young, so again, the mid-tier range here. A couple of these Indiana guys, they were back-to-back blowouts here, but then the Cleveland game kind of stayed close. He played 34 minutes. I know only got 22 fantasy points. We know normally Thad Young he doesn't have a lot of upside, but with Oladipo out, he has, he's been turning it up a bit here. So I think at 6.2K, he is firmly in play, and I do like him. Gallinari, also really like him. Again, the theme of this video kind of is the mid-tier. I like a lot of the mid-tier guys. Gallinari played 29 minutes against Boston. So if he's not going to be limited, I like him quite a bit here against Minnesota at 6K. In 29 minutes against Boston, put up 39 fantasy points. I would only guess that the minutes go up for him. So I do like Gallinari quite a bit here. Jabari Parker. Jeff Green got injured, so he played 34 minutes. If Jeff Green's out again, then Jabari is going to be chalky, but for good reason. He's been playing really well in his first couple games here for Washington. We know even when he was on Chicago, whenever we could predict him to get minutes, he would produce. He's a high usage guy, so anytime we can predict him to get minutes, as if Jeff Green misses, I think Jabari is looking at around 30 minutes or so. So I think he'd be a really, really good play if Jeff Green is out. Ariza, I understand it. He's also going to play most of the game. But personally, if Jeff Green's out, I would rather play Jabari Parker. Kevin Knox, been a little up and down. Hasn't really flashed the upside, but he's playing most of the game here. 40, 35, 34, 35, 40 minutes. I know the box scores hasn't really been that good, but a 5K in a match against Cleveland, I think you got to consider him. Other than that, so Trey Lyles here. If Mason Plumlee misses, again, he's been playing really well off the bench. Been playing right around 20 minutes. So I would definitely consider him again if Paul Millsap is out. Let's move on to power forward here. So Kawhi, on the Toronto side, again, I'm probably just going to stay away. Toronto seems really deep. They got Marc Gasol now too. Too many mouths to feed in my opinion. I like Toronto when one or two of those guys are out. When they're fully healthy, I know the matchup's good. Just, preference. I'm not going there. Blake Griffin, you guys know I don't really like playing the Detroit bigs, but this is, an ideal matchup here against Washington. Should be a pretty high over-under. So Blake Griffin and Drummond, I think, are firmly in play. Markkanen, it's at 7.5. He's been playing really, or 7.9 actually. Been playing really well. This is more of a tough matchup, though, against Milwaukee. So I'm probably not going to go his way this time. FARIED, going to be going up against the likes of Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell. I think he should have his way. The price is up though, but I think he's pretty safe, and he does have some upside here. So I think FARIED firmly in play. Montrezl Harrell, you guys know I love playing Montrezl Harrell. This is more of a difficult matchup though against Karl-Anthony Towns. I don't know, maybe I think Zubac gets more run here than Montrezl Harrell. The Clippers do like closing with Montrez, but I don't know if Montrez is going to be able to stay with Cat. So that's the only worry here with Montrez. Maybe they run a little Montrez at the 4, Zubac at the 5. You never know. Bobby Portis, I do really like him. Detroit plays big. Obviously not the best matchup going against Drummond or Blake Griffin, but I think he plays 25 or so minutes. Anytime we can predict him to get a lot of minutes, we like that a lot. So I think Bobby Portis is still a pretty solid play here at 6.3. Larry Nance, if Kevin Love's out, I'm just going to lock Larry Nance as the easiest play of the day. If Love plays, I don't know, because I think they're still going to limit Love. So I still think I would play Larry Nance. I'm going to wait for further confirmation, see if we can get some more details on Kevin Love, if he's going to be on a minutes limit, if he's only going to play, 7 minutes like he did last game. So, but I still do really like Larry Nance here. Plumlee, it's Plumlee and Lyles if Millsap misses. Plumlee has been playing really well and be getting a lot of minutes here. So, I know the price is up there a bit, but I still think he is playable if Millsap does miss. Let's see. Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber. I know it would be a pretty solid matchup going up against Kenneth FARIED, so I think you could play one of these guys. They're going to play right around 25 or so minutes, so I think both those guys are solid value plays. Kellyo, it's so hard to trust his minutes, but he's playing 30 minutes a game, then back down to 20. You never know with Eric Spoelstra. It's a headache and a half trying to predict the minutes. So let's move on to center. Jokic, a kind of a tough matchup here against Whiteside. He's been playing really, really well. So I understand if you want to go there, but I'm probably not going to go his way. I really, really like Karl-Anthony Towns. He is like one of the stars I really want here. Going up against the Clippers, Zubac, Montrezl Harrell, whoever they try and throw on him, I think Towns is going to have his way. So I do really like Towns stay as a spend up. Obviously, the two Detroit guys are solid as well. I talked about them. Definitely considering Whiteside. Been playing really well here and was playing really well against Golden State. I haven't really checked back in since the start of the second half, but he's been playing really well. Denver plays big, and centers have been doing pretty well against Jokic. So I think Whiteside and GPPs is worth a look. Marc Gasol, again, I'm just staying away from Toronto. They're too deep right now. If one of those guys are out for the Raptors, then that's when I consider some of them. DeAndre Jordan, not seeing, a whole lot of minutes, but, 25 to 30 minutes in a matchup against Cleveland. I think he's worth a look. I never really get excited about playing him, but I think he's in play. Sabonis, Miles Turner. Where's Miles Turner here? Hold on. There it is. It's 6.6. Both Sabonis and Turner going to be going up against the Hornets. Centers against Charlotte have been, always. I love targeting centers against Charlotte. So Miles Turner and Sabonis, I think, are firmly in play. Again, there's just so much mid-tier that I like. Cody Zeller, I think he's okay. Played 26 minutes when he's back. 4.5K, I think he's priced about right. Mitchell Robinson actually played really well off the bench in 22 minutes, put up 30 fantasy points. Actually, it's 3 straight games of him doing really well. We know, though, this guy has foul trouble issues, so at 4.1K, you could do it, but I would just, Vicha Zubac here, I really like at 4K. So he played really well against Boston, but then they pulled him about midway through the third, and he didn't come back in because they closed the Montrez, which I kind of understood. Boston, likes running more small ball, but this is a game the Minnesota runs really big, so I think Zubac gets extended here. I think if he stays out of foul trouble, he plays closer to 30 minutes. Now, that's a big if because I'm a little worried Towns gets Zubac in foul trouble. I'm concerned about it, but at 4K, I think it's worth the risk. I think Zubac is a lock here. Again, the only way he doesn't get there is with foul trouble. So I'm going to take the risk, though. I think he's just way too cheap here at 4K. I hope some of you played him last time, too, against Boston. I really liked him at 3.5K. Put up almost 30 fantasy points. And, yeah, I think that's about it. So, again, there's a lot of mid-tier guys that I like on the slate. And then spend-ups. For me, personally, I'm considering, I'm considering a couple, the Detroit bigs. I'm really considering Towns. I'm leaning towards playing Towns right now, as of right now. Harden and Doncic, I think go low owned. I understand if you want to go that way. I'm probably not. I think this Portland OKC would be the way I would go. Lillard, Westbrook, Paul George. I think spending up on one of the stars in this game with Towns, and then go with mid tier guys. That's probably how I'm gonna end up approaching the slate as of right now. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, please like this video, subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section down below. It's also really important to follow me on Twitter, guys. I'll put that in the description below. I give a lot of thoughts as more news comes out throughout the day. So yeah, it's really important to do so, to follow me. And yeah, I'll be back for another video on Tuesday, so I'll see you guys then.